It is a rainy Wednesday morning. Today we are doing house tours and we are on the Minion side. Let me do a quick little tweet just to let folks know that we are up and running. I did have 5 homes lined up for today, but one of them has gone private, unfortunately, so we're just going to stick with the 4. I do have a few extra homes in the queue, but I prefer to kind of leave them for the next time we run around, just in case I can't find some more in between now and then. I don't want to use up all of my reserve straight away, so we're just going to do the 4. I think you'll be happy with them even still. But I just don't want to, like, all the ones that I found, use them up all at once, just for making sure we kind of spread the love over, a period of time. So today we're going to start off with IL plot. It's I and then ILL, like I'm sick, but IL. It was kind of iffy because the way they spell it, it looks like LLLL, but I double checked it. It is IILL. So I is the first word, and then the last name is ILL. Anyway, this is Deus Dominus or Deus Dominus. It's an interesting plot. A little bit of weirdness on the top. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of different little features that you might like. So we're just going to run around outside first, and then we'll head into the bunker house. So here we come upon, if I can get my character out of the grass here, kind of hard because the grass is so tall. There's a nice big tower, and this will give you a good overview of what's on the plot. This is mostly just constructed of Cassian floors and triangle pieces and cylinders. Lots of glass. So it's a fun way of making a kind of a round silo type of, or tower type of thing, with the clear glass. Just I don't know what shape that is, octagon, hectagon, something like that. But it's a clever use of the triangle pieces as a stairway. I've seen other people use it, but usually they don't step it every 3 like this. So it's a nice little extra design. But you end up on this little balcony thing here, and you can see there's catwalks above the grounds, and then a nice little stone centerpiece there, and then a few things off in the distance that we'll go and explore here shortly. But it's a nice way of kind of just dressing up a piece that looks, the way I read this as I came in and explored around, this almost feels like an exploded home. And I don't mean exploded as in destroyed, I mean exploded as in it's just kind of spread out. So there's like little sections. Good morning, Bones. Glad you could join us. And so, like, the tower is kind of like the start of it because they had the mailbox and everything down at the bottom. So then these little sections that you see up here on the catwalk is kind of like individual rooms of the home. So it's like a strange spread out house, because you have like this hallway here. And notice they're using a variety of pieces. They've got Oran floors for like the little carpet lining, and then I think those are Cassian walls. The Exile ones is just plain red, and I think the Cassian has the design on there, just to kind of dress it up a bit. So we go off to the first little extension, and it's like a little meeting room. Just a place where you can look and enjoy the view and just kind of chat it up with whoever's there. It might just be me, but this looks upside down. I would have turned it the other way I don't know why, but that's just the way I see it. It's like that silver chalice. I always see it upside down as well. But maybe it comes in that way and that's the way it's supposed to hang. But to me, it looks like it needs to be the other way. Good morning, Soccer Top. Glad you could join us. Okay, then we have like a little hallway here. And again, you continue to have a nice overview of the plot because of all the glass that they've used. Notice it's the curved glass with the catwalk between all the sections, and the nice use of the arches to join each little segment up. So here we have another little connector spot. And let's see, maybe I should let's go this way first. And you come out to another section, and it's kind of a repeat of the other one, but it's facing the opposite direction. So you can see a little bit of a view of the fab kit that they have down there, and then of this other little section that's joined by the catwalk. So you have like a couple of lounges, and then come off here, and suddenly we're into like a little bar area, little snack area. Got several tables and chairs. Again, notice the different uses of the materials as far as the walls go. Look at the arrows are pointing the opposite direction. Maybe I came in on this the wrong way, but it just, I don't know. I saw the big tower when I first came here to take a look, and I was like, I gotta go up the tower, and then it just led me around here. So I may be doing this completely backwards, which is not unheard of. I do that a lot anyway. It gives builders a chance to see, okay, if I don't spell it out for them that they have to come this way, then they're going to go like carrot and willy-nilly. So here we have a little medical bay, medical lab, med area, and then you go through a little tunnel. One thing I would say is I have come across a few homes that have these tunnels, and they make them pretty small, and it makes it a little awkward. And I'm not just talking for folks that like to ride around on these plots on their mount. It doesn't bother me if they want to kind of force you to walk it, but I've been to a few that the bit is so tight, the fit, that the character gets stuck along the pipeway. So be careful about that. Make sure that you test everything in your plot multiple times. Even have buddies come over and check it out. That's something I don't typically do, so shame on me. But okay, so it looks like, yeah, here we go. So from the catwalk, we went down into the tube, and that leads you to, I forget what expedition that is, but it's one of the fab kits. And then you come across another little bar area. I guess it's kind of mirroring the one that's on the other side. I don't think it's arranged exactly the same, but I could be wrong. But again, it's got arrows pointing the opposite direction, so maybe that's to say that's where you go to the next one. I don't know. And then you have a final little overlook place. Got another nice view. I really wish we could remove these hunky bits off of the sky plot. I was really happy that they allowed us to remove the neighbors for those that didn't want to be spying on their neighbor, but it's just I don't know, those machinery bits on the end are kind of clunky, and they don't always go with everything that we make, and it kind of throws it off a little bit. So a lot of people end up hiding it or covering it or whatever they can, but sometimes that's just not feasible depending on the build you're making. So I think that's all of the upper area of the outside. Probably should have just ported to the front, but Whoops, wrong way. It's always the gamble with me as far as if the thing is going to crash if I try to reload the house. So I'm just going to take the long way around. Hopefully I don't get dizzy going down this tower. So notice, they've taken the time putting in all of the grass and trees and little flowers here and there. Again, I admire folks that can do the landscaping really nicely. I have a lot of trouble with that, and you'll see that in my latest build that I show off next week. It's just, I'm horrible at it. I'm going to try and doodle with it today, maybe if I get a chance, but I don't know if I will improve it any. I'm gonna make sure and make a copy of the plot before I touch it because it's probably gonna mess it up. So they got these little displays of Elden stuff, and then they have this little water and rock feature out here, and I didn't notice it when we were going around. I probably should have looked out the windows more, but they got this canopy thing. You can actually climb the vines and everything. It's a little bit of a jumping puzzle for me, but you can see they did a really good job of laying in the water so that it kind of pours out nicely. There's not a whole lot of strangeness going on. It's really difficult to work with the water as it is, but you can see they used a combination of the winding rivers and the waterfall bits in multiple pieces to get that water to flow just like they wanted. It's, really hard to get the contours just right, lining up with the rocks, but they've done a really nice job. Notice they got the drains set into the rocks to kind of account for where does the water go. Others use like little cave-like things. A lot of people, including myself, have used what's it called? The cellar entrance. If you kind of hide the edges of it, it has that really dark black hole, gapey thing, and you can kind of use that as a cave deal. Again, just several waterfalls pieced together to make that round, nice curved shape. They probably thickened it up a little bit to help with it too. Nice little seating area. Again, it's just a kind of a nice, it's almost like an above ground park. That's kind of what it feels like too, besides a house to me. Because there's just several elements that just reminds me of like a little park, like a reserve kind of thing. You got little benches here. Nice place if you just want to come for some peace and quiet. Now, if you're wondering where the bunker house is, general rule, if you enlarge your map, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be somewhere in the middle there. That doesn't always work. We'll see that soon when we go to visit a couple of other houses, but it's actually right here. And you can see that the little button pops up. You can't actually click on it like you might be able to do in other cases because it's being covered by the stone, but it's actually enterable with the little button here. So here we have the interior, and I like the way they put in this faux door for the entrance thing. It's just kind of strange way of doing it, but it works, Okay. Here we have the little coat and hat rack. I don't remember what these are. It's some kind of Elden Dominion piece. I want to say it's the banner, the Dominion banner with the long like snake tongue banner at the end. But I can't remember if that one's stationary or if it floats. But that's what it reminds me of. It could be a combination of items to make these little bits stick out. But again, I don't mess with Dominion furniture too much, so I don't know the names of those. Got a couple of guards to protect the house. And then you come into the actual living space. And let me tell you, there's some really nice little ideas here. I mean, just as simple as the little rounded shelf. I haven't seen anybody do something like this, and I think that's a really clever idea. In fact, in the past, before we got these curved pieces, I had tried something similar, and it didn't quite work out right because I couldn't get the curve to work nicely. But this is a really good example of putting these curved walls and floors into use in a unique way. I've not seen that. It's really nice. I like that little idea. So here we have the bathroom. I don't know if they intended, I guess they wanted the little bit to show so that it looks like the drain. I don't know if the datascape window is supposed to look like some kind of a weird waterfall thing or what, but I think it's an interesting approach. It's certainly pretty looking. I like how they've segregated all these little bits with the Cassian floor to kind of make them stand out a little better. And got the the mandatory books by the toilet here. This is one way of hiding kind of a lot of the bulkiness of this particular toilet if you don't want to make your own. It kind of almost makes it different on its own just by hiding some of it. The towel rack, I believe, is the body scanner. You can see some of the parts sticking out here, and then they just use the lop and the striped towels. And then the vanity, I'm not sure what this part is. It looks to be one of the portrait things, but I don't really, it doesn't ring a bell. The green kind of throws me off, so I'm not sure what that is. But it's a nice way of, again, hiding some of the bits of the sink that you don't want showing. Makes it look cleaner, in fact, the way they've done it. Now notice the shelf here is repeated, and I think that was mostly because of the thin walls with this makeshift room divisions. With the floors, they're going to poke through, so they just said, well, I'm just going to make it all poke through, and it works nicely. I mean, the only difference is they can't color it differently. It's going to be the same little bit. So here we have a little, what is that, a sauna kind of thing? So they've put in various stones, got a little fire thing going on, using staircase landings for the woodwork. The seating, you just pop yourself up on here, grab a towel, and sweat away. Of course, the shower. Yes, this would be the tub over here, and then this would be the shower. The shower head little control thing, that looks to be like one of those cryopods. And then the head itself is just, it's made to look like a spout with the curved wall and floor of the Cassian version. Yeah, it could be that one, Soccer. I'm not sure. Okay, so in the next room, we have kind of a lounge, living room, bar, maybe it's like a den kind of thing. Got that nice spotlight on there. Again, they're using these, to me, it feels like it needs to be turned the other way. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It just feels weird. But at least they're consistent. They put them all pointing down. Basically just a lot of Dominion decor there. Excuse me. So here we have, I'm not sure what this is, and it looks like maybe they're in the process of fixing it up. But it looks like it's going to be like a miniature of maybe the plot, or uh, some like a little, you know how you have like a little planning map, like you want to say, okay, the enemy's over on this side and this is us, and we're going to move our men over here. You know, it's one of those like strategy boards. That's what I'm thinking of. And I suspect that that's what all of these goodies are going to be used for. But I like the idea. I've seen a few people do something similar. I can't think of their names offhand, but I'm pretty sure it's on the Exile side that I saw it. But an interesting approach in use of materials to make a little miniature version. But it looks like here you have like a little lounge area and people will watch. Maybe this is supposed to be like a live kind of feed where you're watching some actual, you know, action happen, and you can just watch it from up here. I don't know what all they're using for the pieces here. It looks like a Dominion scanner, but with 2x4s to make that little lattice. It could be, I don't think it's a staircase, but I don't know. It's a nice effect as a pretty pattern to it. Excuse me. Notice that the room even is done differently. I mean, they use the pillars to kind of break up the whiteness. They also use curved walls to kind of give it a little, just a little different definition than just plain old square rooms. You know, not like mine. Here we have a little lounge area. Notice you have a nice view of the upstairs part. Down here you have like this table is actually an Oran shelf, one of those that costs renown, and guess that's, I don't know, just like a little ashtray or something. That's what it reminds me of, even though it's kind of flamey. Here we have either cylinders or hollow domes in multiple layers to kind of form a little bowl to have this nice little plant. Gives some greenery to an otherwise non-greenery house. Then you have this lovely little rock waterfall thing. I don't know what you call it. Lots of little stones, some of the new swirly ones. The gray tiered stones. A little bit of overgrowth and grasses. A nice little arrangement. You know, it doesn't take, you know, you don't have to do a whole wall like that. You can just kind of dress it up a little bit. Notice they break up this. I don't know what they're using for the green. I suspect it's either the, I want to say it's, you know, I really don't know what that is. Like a green marble. I'm sure it's the bottom or of something or whatever. I don't know. But they've split it off with the wood, the 2x4s, to kind of, I don't know, you've seen some rooms where it has like the wood along the bottom. It just helps break it up a little bit. I really got to start doing that myself to kind of break up the monotony of mine. The stairs are treated nicely. It's just 2x4s, and then they've closed it off so you don't see all the bare bits underneath. With the orange floors. Here's a nice little display. Guess it's supposed to be their fridge. So they got this like little panel here, and then they've got like frozen goods and icicles hanging off of it. It's a weird little. I like the use of the, I think it's the granite curved wall. It almost looks icy too in this particular setting, because of the way they've got it arranged. Here we have a little more nature-y kind of room. Looks to be the kitchen. So they're using the gate as a decoration on the wall. I suspect, I don't think that leads to anywhere. Yeah, it's the way they've got it set up, it's not meant to actually be used. Took the time to fill in all the drawers. A lot of people don't do that. They leave it empty, and but they've actually put cutlery in the bottom, towels, and then plates and stuff on the shelves. Hey, duck door. Yeah, it could be. The color is about right of the Hoogle thing, but I don't know. The Hoogle's more round. This looks pretty flat, so I don't know what that would be. A really pretty jade color, though. Lots of pillows. This wall here is, I think it's the Galeris stone wall, the craftable. Lots of little bits. Some leftover Winterfest going on. The railing for the balcony is just layered glass, and they've layered it in a way that makes a pretty pattern. A good way of treating it. Others that really get into the details, they have like the pillars for the beams, and then they'll have like 2x4s or something else joining them up. But this is a quick and easy way of doing that and still make it look elegant, depending on the design that you use. So here we have kind of a little workroom, and notice the no collision for this little, it's actually I think it's the Chua portrait. If you make it big enough, there's actually no collision in the center where the image is showing. You can see bits of it, I think, visible. But it's a really fun way that a lot of Dominion and even some exiles use it as like a little hidey spot. This is like an extra little secret lab part for all of his little bits. So here they've used that new Winterfest festive emblem as a mouse to make their little three-screen computer complete. I don't know what these are supposed to represent, maybe tax or something. But I think it's a fun little idea. So again, just lots of little tools and doodads. If you're wondering what this is, it's one of those new, I think it came from the Sim Chase event, one that I didn't get into myself. In fact, I think we're getting ready to head into another dungeon chase event that I probably won't be participating, even though I would really love to get a hold of some of the Protostar stuff. I guess I'll have to keep my eye out on the auction house to see if I can snag up some that are reasonably priced. This little bit, I want to say that's the emblem too, the bottom of it, but then they've got an additional bit that's showing through, because really the emblem, I think, has a red little star kind of thing, like the shape of this, but I don't recognize what that is. It could be one of the new engine parts, for all I know. It's part of the problem when you don't participate in some of the stuff and get all of the bits, you don't recognize some of the pieces. I really like this room, mostly because of the difference of the wall texture. They're just using the brick pile, and they've just kind of melded it with the exile walls to give it an interesting design. I don't know if it's intended to be like an actual brick wall, but it's because of the way the shape of it is, it's patchy and everything. I still like it. I think it's an interesting, playing with textures and stuff is always fun. Using the Winterfest stockings for socks on the floor. Somebody didn't put their socks back in the drawer. But I like the idea of that. And then I assume this is going to be another kind of little display, like they've got the frozen bit, but I don't know what they're going to turn it into. This is the only spot that really looked, besides the little map room, it looked slightly unfinished. So I'm sure they're still working on it. Most of our homes, even though we say they're done, there's always something new we feel like we could add to kind of dress it up a little differently. So that is I-Ills plot. Deuce or Dus Dominus. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but so on to the next one. Now, this one, supposedly when we like have a name that has special accents or special characters, we should be able to, like, if you have a character name that has like an accented A, that you could just type the A normal and it will accept it. Well, this one uses that AE combination letter special character, and I could not get it to work if I just typed in AE normal. So I'm going to have to make a special note when I list it on the forums, but it's XTs, but it's TAE, but it's Alt, what is it, Alt 146, I think? Yeah, SE. So it's a little funny spelt, but you know, it's worth the visit if you can figure out how to type it in. But the special character, the AE, it's like the two letters are stuck together. Yeah, that's the one, Bones. It's Alt 146, and I'll put a note on the forum listing so that people won't get confused, because just typing TAESE doesn't work. I've tried it, or maybe it was just me. I don't know. Now, XT's plots, we're going to be visiting two of theirs. This is just labeled XT's, but it reminds me of Rivendell. Both of them, I looked everywhere I could squeeze my little Chua into, and I could not find any sign of a hatch house. There may be one, and you know, if they have it, I even emailed them or mailed them in game last week to ask if there was such a thing on either of the plots, but I never did get a response. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where it could be there and I'm probably going to miss it. And there's going to be people that say, I know where it is. You missed it. You need to go back. And I'll be happy to do that. But to my knowledge, there isn't one. You know, we're going to take a look around anyway. But this is very reminiscent of Rivendell. You can see they've got a nice little not exactly house arrangement, but it's kind of, I mean, there's some bedrooms and stuff. And then they got this nice bridge with the water coming down. Now, I couldn't find a way up top here either, but I still like the way they've set it up. You can see the waterfalls coming off, kind of suggesting that there's some sort of a water source up above, maybe a lake or something. And then they have plenty of trees and things. So there's a nice little skyline here going on. But let's take a look around here. So you got lots of like hugel bits and the swirly stones indicated with little bits around here. It gets a little herd of Rastauer. And again, more hugels. There's a little rock circle showing off the new swirly stones that we've gotten a hold of. And then here's a little orange camp with some lop and other creatures that have come to kind of have a party, camp out, something like that. It's just a little camp. Now, there is this cobweb thing, and this is what I thought was going to lead me to the hatch house, but it's just, there's nothing there. It's just like empty. Just go to a wall. Okay, I'm going to go around the other side here real quick. Wow, that was like super speedy. I don't have the faster running thing on any of my alts, so they feel achingly slow. So here you have a little bit of a river. Again, they're using a combination of stones, the sandstone, greystone, and the obsidian rocks to kind of break up the monotony of that. There's nothing wrong with using the same stone over and over, but sometimes it's nice to break it up a little bit. Hey, Mini Stabber, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. And yeah, a lot of people just don't want to, whatever faction they're on, they don't feel like traveling over. It's about as bad as being on EU side and not willing to make a character for NA side. That would be me. So I will never get to see any of the NA homes up close. So we have to kind of live vicariously through videos and screenshots. Okay, but see, you can get a good view of the bridge and stuff down here. Excuse me, I feel like I'm trying to lose my voice here. I haven't been talking that much, have I? It's like nonstop. Yep, 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 yep. So the official way up that I believe is this was what this is meant to be is these stones here. Now we're going to. Yep. Oh crud. Let's go this way. I'm just going to hop over onto this side because there is a little. I don't know if it's an Easter egg, and I'm not even sure what it's meant to represent. But there's this little hollow dude sitting out here, and I'm not sure. I hunted every little nook and cranny around here, thinking, well, maybe he was to indicate that there's a little hidden pocket somewhere to lead to the hatch house, but I couldn't find anything. I just thought, well, I'm going to show him because he's there, and people might not think to look down there, so. They do have this nice way of getting back out. Okay, so back up the stones. So you come to the first little building. Really lovely meshing of the materials. I mean, you have arches layered to make a nice little design. Lots of, I guess that would be the Oran pillars. Floors to help finish off the roofing, and looks like Oran walls for the trim. So you have this little bedroom area. I think, yeah, there's glass there, so I won't be able to get my camera out there. I think they got glass on those as well. It's hard to get my camera at an angle just right. I'm probably going to have to kind of hop around on the roof to get a better view of the construction of this thing. There we go. So you can see, I mean, they've added little details of like the Oran fencing just to kind of dress it up, and kind of patches up the gaps that they've had to leave just to kind of keep their design together, but still a nice little way of doing it. I love these little window bits. They really don't lead anywhere. There's no kind of attic area, but it's still a pretty decoration. It's just the triangle pieces of the exile walls and then the leaf windows. Still a really interesting building, I think. So you got the eating area, and then you come up to the next section. Get a good shot of that. Again, it's a combination of lots of arches, some overlapping to get the little round part, some left open, and others filled in with the windows. Wow, my voice is really trying to go bye-bye on us. Excuse me. Then it's topped with a dome. And if you look inside, you get this nice little fountain thing going on. And here, again, this is why I'm really pretty sure this is reminiscent of Rivendell. They got the little sword here on the bit. I don't know, I guess this is supposed to be the sword that was broken and been remade or whatever. Excuse me. On either side, there's some towers with ivy. It's difficult to see from my vantage point here. Let's see if I can go up top here and get a better view. Yeah, there we go. So you can see they got these the little fire towers up. It looks a little dangerous with the ivy getting so close to it, but nicely constructed. Again, it's just arches, triangle walls for the little roof part, and then Oran walls for the main part of it. Even went through the trouble of sticking on a little one of the new Oran ornate pillars for the topper. Onward to the next little section, and we come upon the gardens. Have little bits here, 2x4s. I'm not sure what the dirt is. It looks to be the Draken walls. I think you can see the trim of it. Instead of the wood trim, the Draken ones have that metal. I think that's what we're seeing here. Because it has that marbly dark brown. You can see kind of like, looks almost like mossy green in there. So I'm pretty sure that's the Draken walls being used as the dirt for the little garden here. Again, multiple bits of um, the arches. They've got, both combinations of the Exile Arch and the Oran Arch. And of course, they've got this little design here. They could have pushed it a little bit more in so it didn't show, but I think they liked just the design that it made on the wall. So it just adds some extra element to it, makes it pretty. But those little round bits are just the ends of these hanging plants poking through. It was just a choice of theirs to leave them showing. Again, they repeat the same kind of architecture for this building roof, even though they changed the walls, how they set it up. So it keeps it not same all the way through, but similar enough where it ties it all in together. And it's very useful, makes it doesn't look like too piecemeal. If you're doing like a village thing where there's a lot of different buildings, it's more acceptable to have it. But when you have this connected kind of building thing, it looks better to me if it has some shared elements. Again, it looks like the Draken wall being used for the dirt for the little pumpkin patch here. Let's see, now how do I get to the other bit? Maybe I was supposed to go out this way. I don't know. So then we come to the bridge. And the bridge is, while it's simple in construction, I have not seen anybody make one like this, so it catches your eye. It's arches, to set up the segments, and then divide it up with the curved exile walls. And they've just kind of overlapped and turned them just enough to make that curve. It's a really nice way of doing it. Of course, the pillars repeating from other elements elsewhere kind of give that bit. And then, of course, they've got the arches underneath with the, I guess it's the Gothic pillars. They kind of help make it even look more stable on those stones. And again, the Draken walls for the walkway. Yes, they used it for the dirt here, but it still looks fine out here. You don't think, ooh, that's dirt for the bridge. And then that brings you to the main hall. Again, lots of similar elements. You've got the same materials, the arches, the pillars, lots of Oran fencing for decoration. Even the pattern that they've used, the layered arches, is repeated, but it's done nicely, and I don't know, it almost looks like a lodge kind of thing. But this would be the main hall where they got their little meetings. I love the way they decorate. Let me get a good shot of that. The little window area here with the extra, just looks like a almost like a stained glass window kind of effect. Just a really nice little way of putting it together. And of course, it's all being accented with it being built on the stones and the waterfalls. Now again, I went through here looking for any kind of opening that might lead me to the hatch house, and I just constantly found these little dead ends. I got stuck a few times. I had to port to the main entrance just to get myself out of it, and I could not find any way into the hatch house. I assume there is one, but they've just got it. They've chosen to cover it up completely, or I'm just really daft and can't find it. Yeah, Minnie, I would just like more options. You know, I don't mind the speed of these. For some builds, it works really well depending on how they're used. But if we could have more variations of the water, I think that would be a big plus. You know, some still water, some slow-moving water, even more shapes. You know, not everybody wants a winding river. Maybe they want a straight river or like a round kind of shape for a pool or something, but you know, you work with what you got and do your best. So that's X-Tease's, I'm going to call it Rivendell. They might not mean it to be that, but that's what it reminds me of, the Rivendell plot. So that brings us to their next one. And this one is actually spelt like tease. X-Tease. And the reason is, again, the reason I'm pretty sure the other one's supposed to be Rivendell is because this one is called Moria, which I guess brings to mind the mines of Moria. So this one's got a lot of stone. You can even see the shiny crystals showing through all the blinky bits. And then you come into this really imposing, grand kind of like Dwarven Hall kind of area. Hey Maddie, good morning. Now I see this door. I didn't notice this door before, so we'll have to explore that. Maybe that one leads to the downstairs, but I'm gonna take a look here. You got the little WildStar statue, kind of looking like a really formidable wall mural thing. Buried, half buried relics, and then the bridge going up that's been utterly destroyed. It is possible to run across it. I am going to attempt it to get us to the outside, but I guarantee I may drop off. All right, I'll see you later, Bones. Have fun at work. Well, that's good to know, Maddie. That's probably why the person, because I just mailed the account that this was on, asking if they had bunker houses. So if it really was commissioned work, then yeah, maybe they just aren't around. But I guess this is all supposed to be, what is that stuff called, mithril or something? So like, is this a vein of mithril? I don't know. I know this is supposed to be like it. Hiding in the rocks here, which is just, I think it's the exonite bits being shown. But I think it's a really fun way of doing this. They've got, you know, I'm pretty sure this is glass that's been layered up quite a bit, because you can kind of see, depending on the angle of your camera and the lighting, you can see this kind of see-through. But I think it's just layered glass, because like I said, a lot of people stop at about 3 layers, but the more layers you have, the brighter white the glass becomes. So they probably aimed for that specifically, to be super white, to kind of be that like a molten pool of mithril, I guess. But I love how they've managed to make this look so broken down with the Draken fences for the pillars and the Draken pillars for the stairs. And I think these are all just the Falcon fire pits that they're using for the fiery bits. And then it just gets progressively taller. Again, they've got these little like work areas, but you can see the mithril peeking through the stone. That's where they come and get it. So let's go to that little door that I completely missed the 2 times I came here before. See, it's probably something obvious on that other plot that I just missed. I'm gonna feel really dumb for it, but let's see where this goes. Yeah, the light effect is really nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, I completely missed this the first time. This would be, I don't know the name, one of the, I don't know, anybody know their Lord of the Rings stuff? This is where they come to do their final battle, I think. It was somebody's tomb, somebody important. I'm like really not good with, I don't even do the lore of the game because I can't remember all that stuff. But that's like the well. I think that somebody drops something down accidentally and it wakes up all the orcs or something. And then they end up having to do their like little fight here or whatever. I don't know. It's nicely done though. The tomb here is just Oran wall floors, and then there's Draken floors for the design on that bit. Draken stuff used for the little fireplace here. I guess it's supposed to be like a little anvil type of area. Just lots of stones and bits. What they're using for the well is just upside down Draken fence pieces. They have curved pieces and straights, and they're using the curved ones for that. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Gabe. Gabe says it's Balin's or Balin's tomb. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong as well. It's so awful. It's a really nice idea. I like it, even if I have no idea what it was supposed to be referenced for. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to go up these little stair bits without falling. No guarantee, because I'm really awful about these jumps. Let me speed this up a bit. I'm just not going fast enough, I think. Woo! I just went off backwards. See how bad I am? I'm just awful at this. Ooh, gosh. Oh my gosh. Woo! I made it. Okay, so there you go. It's a really grand view. I mean, that just shows you the scope of, the size of it. It's just huge. But that's, what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a formidable site. And then, of course, you go up and you come out to a really kind of fiery. It looks really hot and yucky and everything, but I think it fits really well. I don't know what all this is supposed to be representative of. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an interior of the mine and we're supposed to feel like we're inside it, but this is just like one piece of it or what. But I love the little constructions of these, I don't know what they're called. Not an elevator thing, but a little, I don't know what they're called. Oh, but I like the construction of it. It looks like it almost looks like a catapult thing, but it's not that. It's supposed to be, a little pulley system to raise up the stuff from down below and bring it up top. So you see that they're using the exonite pieces for the mithril, I guess is what it's supposed to be. Chains, hanging chains. They even use a cylinder piece for the little connector there, and then metal edged 2x4s for the arm and for the little angle construction here. Another cylinder piece for the center, and then of course the nautical wheels topped on another staircase landing. Now I'm going to try and not fall because I really don't know how easy it is to get back up here. So we'll eventually go down into the bottom, but for now we're going to stay up top. So crane, yeah, that's it. I guess it's a crane. I'm sure there's different types of cranes, but it's one of those lifty crane thingy. That's the technical term for it. So here's a good use of the rope bridges that we just acquired access to. And then they've got these little, I don't know, dwarven homes. That's what it looks like anyway. Constructed of Draken walls, Draken pillars, and just little decorations. Some of them is more Drakeny in nature, so maybe the Draken are supposed to be the dwarfies or something, but we got all these little bits here. This would be kind of like the entrance to the Grand Hall, but it's got a faux door, so it's not like we can actually go inside it. But I like the concept of it being built into the rock there. Again, it says ornate, well, not ornate, the Gothic pillars, I think. And then they've just repeated that. They got one here. I want to say there's another one somewhere, but I'm not sure. Let's see if I can meander my way across here without falling off. Again, little peeking of the mithril through the stones. It's a nice touch. Little supports here and there. You see me leaning. I'm like leaning because I do like that in a game when I'm like having to turn. I sit there and lean. Again, all these little different little buildings. Here's one with a treasure chest. It's just granite pillars, 2x4s. Here's one of those, the curved Draken fences. Again, this is the one that they used for the well on the little building down below. There's another little treasure trove kind of thing. I like the broken fence here, the bridge, where they have it hanging even on the edge of there. Oof, trying to get a little choky. Again. Now, if you're looking to do some kind of a mining thing, this is definitely a good source of ideas. Just tucked away all the little treasures that they've collected while they're here. Just slowly working my way down, I think. Now, see how the bridge is out? Got the broken bits hanging, and then there's some bits down in the, I guess it's molten mithril. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Was it lava that was down there? I don't know. This bridge here is just the gray stones, the new ones that we get. They built this nice little rock bridge. Okay, so I'm going to head on further down. You can see, again, the mithril's peeking out. Again, I believe it's the Falcon fire pit for the fire effects. Again, I believe this part here is just glass that's been layered up really thick. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's uh, something else entirely, like possibly um, that Dominion shelf, maybe, but I think it's a little more opaque than this is. Um, but I've never really sized it up to see what it looks like, so I don't know. But I can't really tell about the layering here. I don't see layers, so I almost suspect that it is the, the Dominion shelf. I think when you learn it, it becomes like Imperium shelf or something. But it's that really white kind of sticky stuff. That or layered glass. It's one of the two. There's a lot of fire, kind of makes it hard to see. And I think this is the barrier to the plot. Yeah, right there. So yeah, I've been all around in here and I could not find an opening that led anywhere. It was always just these little dead end things, just like the other plot. So I don't know if they purposely have hidden it well or just didn't utilize an interior uh, bit. But I've like sat on all of these stones, you know, thinking, okay, maybe it'll be like that one that was kind of hidden. I've been all up inside the fire and everything. I just could not find it. So if you hear of it there being an actual uh, bunker house to either of these plots, be sure and let me know because I'll be happy to come back and visit just for that. I've done that in the past for other plots. But it's a really bold looking plot here. If I can get past that fire. Look, I mean, look at the, just looks impressively huge and foreboding, and I just like, you know, that they've chosen a theme and helped carry it through the entire plot. Well, thanks, Maddie. I appreciate it. I hate to assume that there isn't just because I can't find one, because it's been the case before where I've just simply overlooked an obvious entry. But you know, I hate to miss it if there actually is one. But it's really nicely done, even without. Lots to see. Again, it's lots of obsidian stone for most of the construction, which I really like because it keeps that solid bit. You know, some of these the newer stones, the bigger they are, the camera just goes right through them most of the time. Maybe they've changed it, but it seems like when folks try to use those as like cave construction, the camera just goes all over the place, and it kind of loses that, you know, claustrophobic feel. So the last home for today, and Dr. will be happy with this one, is Sherlock Holmes. Let's load it up. There we go. So this is Castle Baskerville. There's a lot of interesting bits. Now, granted, there's a lot of faux construction. A lot of the doors are faux, which might disappoint some folks, but just due to the nature of how we are limited on our decor and the scope of a project, it's one of those things that you just kind of have to, you know, weigh the pros and cons of using a lot of faux doors to indicate that there's actually more to a building than there, you know, or to a plot that there is than you can actually, you know, have access to. So your choice of where you actually use the faux and where you know, meld that with actual enterable doors is, I think, very important. You know, you want to plan ahead on that. So first off, we've got the entranceway. It looks to be a combination of hover park pieces, what it looks like to me. for the stairway and the ramp itself. Most of the castle walls are granite, I believe, accented with Draken pillars for a lot of the trim. You'll see that around. It even gives that nice little dew-dippy. That's not the technical term for that. It's just what I call it, where it looks like, you know, a little bit for the castle part, the dew-dippy thing. I don't know what I'm sure there's an actual term for that. For other places like this one, they use the arches. Partly, I think that's because the granite arch doesn't match the granite wall. Otherwise, they would probably use the same material to make it more uniform. But because some of our building block materials don't really match in textures, you come into that problem because I think the granite arch and the granite wall and the granite floor are all different patterns, which is kind of frustrating for a lot of people that want this texture in this shape, but we just don't have that. So they've opted to use the Exile version of it, kind of blended in, and it works all right. So here's the faux door, and you're going to see this in use in a lot of it along the walls and stuff. And it looks to be a combination of, the lighting's kind of hard to see, but it looks like a combination of hover part pieces, and then I believe that's the bottom or like the side part of one of the Dominion pillars. The handle is a Merg dynamite paired with a metal crate, I believe. The metal crate itself, I think, is one of those that's not perfectly shaped, like a kind of like a crunched up rectangle. And then the little stairs is again the Draken pillars. And of course, the little Dominion mailbox that's been inset into the wall. So you'll see that faux door in use in a lot of places. If I can get hard to get a shot, but it's up here too. The faux door, it's just mirrored up. While the entrance is this little platform over here, this kind of gives the indication that this is the main, what do you call it, the portcullis, the main entrance. And you see like there's some giant peoples getting ready to come in. I don't know if it's supposed to mean that that's who lives here or what. But if you can kind of look around, you can see a lot of overgrowth, plants and things to kind of make it look like this place is actually set in a jungle type of area. The portcullis itself is just some of the it's either I think it's the iron, rusty iron fence gate thingy, and it's just nicely blended in so you can't see the end pieces to it. Because I think the Gothic one doesn't have the little curved bits. I could be wrong, but it's one of those. Okay, Ductor says that these fellas out here that are getting ready to invade, they're coming in to rescue the dog. They won't say where he is just yet because we'll get to him eventually. But it's a nice little setup. So over here, I'm just going to walk around the edge first. You can see that, again, it's the faux doors repeated. So in theory, you would have access to these little pillar type areas, and then you would have access to the top level, and you would be able to get into the corner towers and everything. But every one of them is basically set up faux. You can't actually get in, but it's a nice design for a door. I'm trying to see if there's one that's better lit so you can kind of see it a little better. It's kind of a gloomy lighting anyway, so like I can't really show it very well. But you can see it's nicely repeated all around. You got the arches, uh, so many space between each little bit. It's a really nice arrangement. I mean, it looks like a castle, like the inner courtyard here of this castle space. And then we have these two doors. They actually work, and they've got these little guards out here. Here is, I would assume, to be the armory. So this piece here is the Osun weapon rack. That's a chem as is. It's already got the weapons on it and everything. But I like how they've made their own weapon rack for the others. So they've just made it out of 2x4s, and then you got different sizes and styles of swords here. That's the weaponry armory thing. What's this one? I can't remember. The treasure room. So they have the ornate containers just kind of sunk in. It makes it look like little bank vaults. All the goodies. I'm rich. If you're wondering where the sign comes from, that's just the top of the little sign that's on the taco stand, I think. Ah, good. I thought I remember seeing one that was better lit, but I couldn't remember where it was. So we'll get a better look at the doors here shortly. Well, just let it inspire you, Maddie, if you're working on your own castle. Or, do a homage to Duckdoor and have at least one little element kind of similar to his and say, this is inspired by Duckdoor. Okay, so pretty much the same all the way around. The edge, just want to make sure you just get the scope of the size of this place. I mean, it's just, they've used every bit of the plot that they were allowed. I don't know what ground this is. What ground version is this? I don't change the ground too often on my plots, so I don't pay attention to that too much. Okay, so the first inner building that we're going to enter, if I can find the door, there we go. This will be the last wall I look at. Might steal the hound. Looks to be a little bar kitchen area. So we have this lovely kitchen. Again, a lot of builders have really grown to appreciate the versatility of the hover part pieces. So that's what's being used for the cabinetry in this kitchen primarily. Then it looks to be chewa shelves for the drawer faces, and then the Merg dynamite for the handles again. Could be mistaken on that, but that's what it looks like. I love the little cheese container here. It's looks like a window for the round bit on the bottom. Some curved glass for the glass part, and then the dome to top it off. And it looks like another Merg dynamite for the little topper on the, what do you call it, a cloche? Is that what it is? Oh, my arm is itchy. Then you have the little canisters of this is where you'd keep like flour, sugar, salt, that kind of stuff. I love these little things, and they've even got one open so you can see that that's what it's meant to be. So this, I would assume, is the little sugar canister. So they've used a combination of a snowy hill inside for the sugar, and then a snow snowy pile for it in the bowl. But the construction of the little canisters is just, it looks like Cassian domes and cylinders with that repeated of the Merg dynamite for the little handles. Yeah, the little knob, the little button, little bit on top. It's a really nice idea. And then they've got a different version over here using the Granox style. So maybe that's got, you know, certain spices and stuff. Here we've got a variety of, it's really hard to see in this lighting, variety of foods. I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be asparagus. Um, it's just the green thorny logs, and I'm not quite sure what the tomatoes are. Really hard to see, and now the sun's coming out, so it's making my screen even harder to see for myself. I'm trying to look. Ugh, it's frustrating. I can't get my camera to cooperate. Okay, he says the tomatoes here are balloons, and I don't know what he's using for the greenery bit. I suspect the dark mossy bush, probably. Yeah, you can kind of see him moving just slightly. And then I think for the sliced tomato here, yeah, it's the red cushion bar stool. So they're making a little sandwich. So he's got like cheese on there, and it's just sunk down so that the cheese is looks like a little thin slice. It's a clever way of making it. I've tried sandwiches before, and I know the difficulty in getting that to look real, and it's even worse if they've made it so that it's open and you can see all the goodies. I just kind of mush mine together so it kind of looks like something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the green tops on it is the dark mossy bush. Okay, wow, I can't hardly see anything in here. These are just empty troughs that they've added different kinds of fruits in. It's just the hanging berries and the marauder berries. And then the tables. Here, the seating area, I again love the couches. I've seen a few other people use the mattresses in this way. In fact, in the home that I haven't shown yet, I've got something close, not exact, but same principle as using the mattresses as part of a cushion. These look very comfortable though. I mean, even though the mattress looks kind of old and dingy and stained up or something, it just works nicely. It's a good shape, if especially for like this, if you're wanting, you know, kind of a squarish type of chair or couch or seating arrangement. It works really well with that shape. You know, if you're trying to make something round, it might not work as smoothly, but still a lovely concept rather than just the usual pillows. And it helps make the regular pillows pop a little bit. The base of it is a combination of, again, the hover part pieces. Those things are so lovely. I can't even begin to name the exact pieces that they're using because there's like over 90 pieces of that stuff, but I'm familiar with some of it. I know that's like an edge piece, I think, the one that looks like a triangle and it's got the little pointy bit, and they've just kind of stuck it on as the armrest here. The table is just a combination of pillars and exile walls sandwiched together and makes a nice little table. Yeah, I when I saw it, I thought, that looks like Ellie's from her little winter home. Uh, but yeah, it's a nice idea. It's one that's kind of hard to, you know, not pay tribute to. So, you know, if Ellie was the first, then we know. where all the rest of this come from. So yeah, you've probably inspired the one that I did in my my newer home. The stairs again are nicely done. Um, it looks to be custom built. I can't really tell if that's just staircases. I think it's just 2x4s though. If it isn't, then at least they've trimmed the edge here and made it look nice. So then you come to the little bunker area, all these little bunk beds. I've done bunk beds in the past, so I know, again, the troubles that you kind of have to go through thinking about the mattresses, the covers, how you're going to make it look nice. But they found a nice way of doing these, using the mattresses, the same ones that they're using for the couch, but they become the actual mattress this time, and then the sleeping bags on top. Granite pillars for the posts, and 2x4s for the main framework. Works really well. I like how they mix and match the open and closed sleeping bags to kind of break up, not have it completely monotonous. And of course the little bulletin board. It's just one of the hanging portraits. I think it's the tree or something, and it's just the back of it instead. And I just got lots of little post-it notes on there. Still a lot of duck tours. Well, I'm sure as we, look and get inspired, there's going to be a lot of stuff that kind of reminds you of certain things. Okay, we're going to skip that for a minute. I'm going to head over. Wow, I should have just run. So slow. Let's go to this next little outdoorsy building. Now, first, we're going to look at these little displays. I guess this is some of the new hologram simulation things, and apparently they're interactable. I don't have any myself, so I haven't had a chance to check it out, and I'm not going to go clicking on them right now, but I think that would bug me because they light up kind of like the fences and the Winterfest gates and all that. I don't like it lighting up. I feel like it breaks it up. But here's, I guess it's the food market, or just the market in general, because it looks like there's plants and things here for sale. This one's selling all kinds of meats. This one is selling weaponry, and this one is house goods like lamps and doodads, clocks and things. A bucket of pillows there. I'm gonna hop over. Look at all these little bits. I don't know what they're using for the anvils here. Maybe this is the fab kit that's been built over top. I'm not sure. You don't steal it, you just make him build it. Well, that's one way. Look at all these little bits. Is this a fab kit or is this something you put together? Because that's a lot of little doodads. Looks like handles of things. That looks like handles here. These look like handles of the, whoops. Wow, where did I go? Did you see that? I went like through the box. That was weird. The table itself is flat metal tables. And then I think that's just the metal plank. I'm not sure what these are. Probably shelf ends and handles of like the the little crate thing. Can't think of what that is. These bits, I have no idea. It reminds me of like the bottom of the exile shelf, but I'm not sure if it looks that notchy. They say it's not a fab kit, it's all things they put together, so this is pretty crazy, all the stuff here. It's like little hidden bits of shelves and crates and boxes and things like that. That's all I can think of. A good use of the welder. He's even got his Look at it. I've never looked at them really up close. I've got a couple of them and I haven't used them, so that tells you something. I think these little bits holding up the sword is the hammer, the end of the hammer, like the handle part. And he says the anvils are benches. I guess it's the bench up underneath. Yeah, it's the ship hand bench. Well, there you go. That's pretty clever. I didn't know it was so dark. That's a pretty good black. I'm going to have to keep that in mind for something else. Hanging chains, box of bolts, hammers, the big gear, and of course the one of the stoves using for the, what do you call that? The forge? Is that the forge thingy? I'm so bad with names of stuff. It's awful. Again, I believe those are the Chua shelves using for the drawer there. Lots of little details. I love that stuff. Anyone that's watched me before knows I love the details. That's just one of the armor signs, and they just kind of stuck it in and made it look like a shield. Okay, foodstuffs. It's basically just a lot of come as is, but I like the way that they've made the little stands for the little kebabs, I call them. It's just a couple of, I think it's plates and bowls possibly to make those little stands so that you're not just sticking the little spike there. And of course the little roasting pit here is an Osun vent with that lovely granite floor pattern, and then another piece of hover park. Again, hover park for a lot of the cabinetry, the round bits here, even these bits here. It's just so useful. Just the shapes that they have, there's just so many different ways of combining those shapes. It's hard to resist. Like I said, more and more builders are using them and coming up with fun ways of putting them together. So I guess that's the marketplace, since it's a variety of shops. Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes the details isn't just how detailed you can be. It's as long as you kind of give an indication, even if it's not super detailed, if people can recognize what it's supposed to be, that's the whole point. If it starts becoming a little too detailed, maybe you lose some of the, yeah, the believability. It becomes too cluttered, and maybe you kind of lose the idea of it. Like, for instance, this entire plot is basically grassless. There's no little leafy bits anywhere except here where the animal pens are. And it looks suitable that there would be greenery here. But it helps emphasize that this is a well-traveled little path as well. It's just little things like that. Just like this little sack of grain. A lot of people would have just left it as hay piles and not worried about adding that extra little sack of grain, but it helps break up the monotony of the stalls. It makes them look different, even though, you know, it's usually the same elements. So this one here is overturned bucket. They've got those little faucet things for the water. There's a little hay bale inside the bucket there. Just really, really nice things. If you want to know what the dividers are, that's some of the decking pieces with the pillars attached. Again, most of the construction is the granite stuff, but for the rest, and it kind of helps tie in the arches that they had to use that were exile. They've gone with exile floors and arches for a lot of the the extra buildings. Same way with this little slanted roof barn area. Got our little bots. Just now noticed her sitting there, all sneakily. Okay, so I think that's most of the exterior buildings. We just need that one side bit where the lizard was hanging. So here we have, I guess this is supposed to be the gallows. So you have the little people walk up, and this is mostly constructed of the decking pieces. You got the little lever to open up the little hatch here, and this poor little lizard has paid his dues for whatever crime he committed. Pillars is what's been used for the little, I don't know what you call it, the little arch here. I mean, look at the detail. I mean, a lot of people would just do the three. That would be me. And then, but they've added all the little extra little bits. That just finishes it off nicely. I would have just left it the three and been so plain. So here we have a guard, and again, this is hover part pieces for the stairs, but it leads to the haunted house fab kit. It's a good way of hiding what you don't want seen, because as much as I like the detail that they put into the little extra, like the Protostar mini house and the haunted house fab kit, and probably any others future ones that they bring out, as much as I love the detail, typically they don't fit whatever theme you're trying to put out, and I think it would just stick out like a sore thumb. So they've done a really nice job of hiding it, and it has become the jail, little prison. I don't see any green in here, and there's an orange. So you lied, Duckdoor. It's not just it's not just where there's green. Need to put a little flower in there or something. But yeah, you can see a little better the doors. Let's see if there's a nicely lit one. Really, it's still dark in here. But it's the same faux doors that are used on the exterior walls of the castle. It's the same setup. The hover part pieces, I think, well, they got it hidden nicely, but I think it's part of the Dominion fence post, one of those, and then the crate and the doorknob is the Merg dynamite. The bars, I believe, are sparking wires, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, well, she doesn't get no greenery, I guess, because she was caught. Most of the wall construction appears to be Oran walls, but like the bits around the window itself, that's just the Oran arch. Again, it's an example of where the building block pieces don't match well. Whoever decided to change the textures should have their hands slapped, because either give us all uniform pieces or give us multiples of each or something, because that's just annoying that it doesn't match right. Of course, it probably wouldn't match anyway because the bubbles would be in a different place and blah blah blah. But yeah, I think it's sparking wires for the bars, Draken floors for the area inside there. This is a hover park piece, and you got the little bench. The stones, I would suspect, is just the fab kit wall itself. Fairly sure that's the case. Hey, there's two of them in that one. We won't say what might go on in there. And then of course all of these cells, and then at the back is the puppy dog that those guys are coming to rescue their giant lumpy, he looks like Quasimodo, that big old hump. Yeah, exactly, Maddie. That's what I mean. It's just annoying that they gave some of those pieces a strange texture compared to all the other bits. Just frustrating. You know, when you're trying to build something that looks uniform and matches, it's the Hound of the Baskerville, I guess. Yeah, as the duck door says. He's pretty creepy looking. Look at his tongue, just lapping there. It's disgusting. And there's, of course, his dinner. It's pretty nasty. But it's a good use of the fab kit. You know, sometimes we use these ones and we install them and then we have to struggle to figure out what to put in them. But putting the prison is a good idea. Yeah, it does. It's a good fit. Okay, so now we come to the main building, and again, it's kind of hard to see. You really need to open one little area up where you can like climb up and get a good overall view, a top view. But you can see they use the Draken and then those, was it stone wing statue or something for the little decoration on either side. I don't know what all of these bits are. It looks like the Dominion bookshelf, but I'm not sure if that just comes as is. I'm not really familiar with the Dominion homes to be smart enough to know if some of that is added or if it comes that way anyway. But I know the ramp and stuff that's, again, mirroring the ramp here. Again, kind of mirroring elements helps tie these things in. So he's got the same little setup here for the entranceway. And that brings us to the main entrance hall. I guess this is where the head honcho would sit. Of course, I can't use the chair, but would sit and greet the peons. Love the little red carpet. I think it's just exile walls, cleverly sunken and tilted in so that you can't see the trim. Again, hover part pieces for a lot of the extra little bits, the ramp and everything. It's a really nice little throne room area. I've seen some come up with different concepts, but see, you've got those up. Is that the way they come in? I swear, I want to turn them the other way. Maybe that's the way they, you know, when you first put them in, they come in upside down. To me, I want to turn them where the point is up. But yeah, I love the throne room. It's really nice. Aside from the fact that I keep wanting to turn the candles. I want to turn them like you've got these, the sconces here. To me, it looks like these are upside down. I guess it's just me. I know the times that I've used stuff, I guess I just see them oddly because I put them different than everybody else. So here's a really nice display of all of the new simulation decor. Gosh, you got a lot of them. The little display areas, again, it's the hover part pieces. I tell you, those things are so awesome. I really wish they give us some other textures for those pieces. I mean, how little work would that be for them to just change the texture? I mean, they already have all of the shapes. They just need to change the coloring and things. And it would just open up so many new ideas. You can combine them differently, and I don't know. Just wishful thinking, I guess. The spiral staircase, a really lovely pillar made out of the Chua pillars, and then the stairs is again double pillars for each little stair. It looks almost golden, this coppery, because it's so shiny. Oh, I got stuck a little bit. And then you come up to the next one. That is the ugliest chandelier ever. And it's very bright when you're looking at it like that. Whew, kind of hurts my eyes. But look at all these little sun guys. Ooh, look at that one. He's not very pretty. That's what I feel like in the mornings. I think that's part of the house. I want to say it is because I see it in a lot of them. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about these bits here, right here. I'm pretty sure that's part of this construction. Because I've seen that a lot in a lot of these Cassian homes, and so I suspect that's just part of the construction. It seems a little Draken-y to me with the spiky bits, but maybe it's just a choice of the trim that they picked, that that's what it looked like. But yeah, like I said, when you're not familiar with some of the bits, it's kind of hard to tell what's what. Yeah, they are really pretty. I'd almost say you could probably get away with some of the lampposts if it didn't tread too much on your lighting count. Some of the even fence posts or lamp posts would probably work nicely as an alternative if you're looking for something as an extra banister kind of decoration. So I think, did we cover everything, Doctor? I hope I didn't miss anything. Okay. Gonna see if I can hop up on here. I'm gonna do the naughty no, and there we go. You can see a little better of the how they've got the upper part built. Nicely hiding where they put the trees and stuff. Yeah, I imagine with the fab kit that they had to hide, I wonder, that's maybe why they had to make the castle so tall to hide the smoke. Because I know for my Protostar Sky Plaza, I had to hide the smoke there, but I ended up just leaving it and making that part of the food court. But yeah, you can't really see it. It could also be the lighting that helps hide it. Can you actually get on the outside? I'm so bad at that kind of stuff. Let me see. Ugh. Maybe I can jump across here. Woohoo! No, that doesn't really. Ugh. Yeah, so you can get a little better view. But all the detail there. Well, crud, my camera keeps yoinking on me. Well, it's about all as scenic as I can get, I think. You really took it right up to the edge. I think my next plot, if I do another one, I probably will. I'm just going to make it a little bitty. I'm just going to block off most of the plot and just build a little tiny area. I don't know what, but it's so exhausting to try and fill up an entire plot. And then there's some on the forums that are asking for bigger ones rather than having the neighborhoods. And I'm like, no, I have trouble figuring out what to do with the space I have now. I just, unless they're going to up the count as far as the place decor. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people have been disappointed that with all of the announcements of upcoming stuff, they have neglected to mention neighborhoods. They teased us with it a couple of times in the past, and then it's just kind of, I don't know, been put on the side burner, and it's disappointing that they haven't elaborated on how they're coming along with that, or if they decided to scrap it altogether. If they're going to decide to scrap it, just might as well tell us so that we can, be maybe suggesting other things. Yeah. Um, what's your decor count on this? I mean, are you capped already? Yeah, I think a lot of people would like that, Maddie. I always envisioned that neighborhoods would work really well for guilds, because I know there's some guilds that have certain members that have, things to solve for, like they use a lot of the fab kits that are for training, and then they got one that's for all the portals, and it would be nice to kind of connect them all. So 2,300, wow. And there's probably so much more that you could add. I mean, you could have like a training area for like some little practice dummies. Maybe have like an archery thing set up. But wow, 2,300, that's a lot. But think about if building blocks didn't count towards your decor count, how awesome would that be? Because I mean, you could get away with a lot more if that didn't count at all. You could add so much more detail, things. The last castle I went and visited, I think they had a catapult and some other. It was more like an old, uh, different version of a castle. This one, it seems more modern to me. Not that castles are really that modern, but it just reminds me of that. But I really like this. Really good example. It's a perfect inspiration plot. That's what I like to call them, because people can come and say, hey, well, like Maddie wants to build a castle. This is a great example of some ideas. And Maddie, of course, will have to let me know when their castle is done so I can come look at that one and go, ooh, ah, and wish that I was good at constructing that kind of thing. So yeah, that would be the tours for this week. Like I said, I had another one that I was planning to visit today, but unfortunately they went private within the last week. They were open last Wednesday when I was checking things, and between then and now they've went private. So unfortunately, I will keep checking on it, and if they reopen before the next time, then we'll slate them up for next Dominions one. It won't be next week. That'll be Exiles, but and of course Ellie on their alt Cheeky Bebo, I think is the name. I went by there earlier today just to see the progress. Their bunker house is bare at the moment, but they're hopefully going to work on adding some details to that. So, but the house and stuff is looking really lovely. Yeah, yeah, Maddie, that's uh, sometimes it's the details that kind of get you. Especially for someone like me and you guys, where we do a lot of custom stuff, it's those little details that eat up your decor count, and you don't get as detailed as you'd like. Well, hey, less castly, that's fine. But yeah, you'll have to give me a heads up when it's done so I can note it down. Because, like I said, most of the houses that I show in here are houses that I've just randomly come across. Unless someone specifically tells me, hey, you should check out such and such's house, or hey, I have a house or an alt's house or something that I want to have you look at. It could be ages before I actually come across it, because half the time the random house visitor doesn't seem all that random. It seems to bring up the same names over and over and over and over. And it makes it frustrating for me because I'm trying to find new houses to look at, and it won't spit out any new names. So, it's helpful when folks bring a home to my attention. Because, well, I think you did for a couple of homes last week on Exile side. It was very helpful because while the visitor tool is useful, it's limiting in some ways as well. And of course, I'm sure there's, well, we visited hundreds of homes, but I'm sure there's lots that are private still that are just as awesome, but we just don't get to see them because we don't have access to them. But hopefully, with the insurge of once WildStar goes to Steam, we'll see a big influx of players, which means an influx of new builders and hopefully new ideas, and see some really interesting stuff bloom from that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, like I said, it's the little details that really bite you in the butt. And for something, a build like this, I think I would find myself um, in a lot worse shape. You've done a good job of not only making the building itself, but furnishing the important parts. I think I probably would have got lost in a lot of other little details and used up more than uh, probably should have. And what's weird though is it's the outside that hurts the most. The interior, I don't think I know very many people that's actually maxed that one out, even though it's got the same amount available. But yeah, I almost wish they would kind of maybe remove some of the limit on the inside and add it to the outside if they aren't planning to add anything else, because I think we really could use that extra bit on the outside than on the in. Maybe like, I don't know what sounds like a good, maybe just the 2,000 inside and then have 3,000 outside. I think that would be better. Or maybe 1,500 on the in, and just kind of uneven it a little bit, because really the interior doesn't seem to require as much, generally speaking. I'm sure there are a few that's probably maxed it out. Yeah, that would be helpful, Maddie, as well, if we could split it however way we want. Or yes, soccer, just do away with the distinction between in and out. I don't know. It seems like it's already missing, because if you look at the decor place list, it doesn't separate the inside from the outside. You just see everything. So yeah, well, like I said, I knew there's probably some people that have. I've tried in a few places, and it's just like, I don't know what to add anymore. There's just not anything else. I'm sure there is, but my imagination gets kind of limited after a while. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. I hope you had fun with the homes here. Really great examples. Um, you know, it it's nice when you have someone that can replicate something that's familiar. like the Rivendell plot and the Moria plot, but having those construct their own, have it recognizable, but it's not necessarily something that's, I don't know, well known. It's not like this is uh, an actual known castle somewhere. Maybe they did fashion it. Maybe Ductor used an actual castle from a movie or something as inspiration, but it doesn't come to mind of anything in particular. But it still looks fantastic. The plots like Moria and the Rivendell and any of the like movie themed plots and stuff like that, those are great too. And a lot of people seem to be more impressed with those because they're more familiar. And I think it's just because they can recognize things a lot more readily than sometimes if you have this really awesome lab identifying some of the parts, like what kind of uh, item is this and what is that and what's this used for. Um, I think that's the difference between the two. If it's something they can recognize and identify with, then I think they appreciate it a little more. But for me, I like them equally both. Um, if, I know a lot of people felt like some of the housing contests in the past kind of leaned toward those that were more well known, themed around things like movies and books and stuff that we're familiar with. But I think this would hold its own against a plot of that nature, because just the knowing that they had to come up with it out of their own head, and the arrangement and all of that, to me is worth a lot. Excuse me. But yeah, anyway, that's all for this week for the house tours. I do plan to be back on tomorrow, but knock on wood that it happens, and we'll probably get back to work on the art gallery underneath my plaza mall shopping center thing. I still need to go and get a hold of some more of the gear trophies to finish that up, but hopefully I will sort that out today before tomorrow, and we can get to work on that. And it'll probably just be that.